Good morning, good evening. Yeah, good evening. I lost that one. Sorry, guys. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. No matter where the heck in the world you are, it's V The Guerrilla coming to you live on this edition of Cuss with Gus. And we have with us the one and only Dennison himself from the doldrums, the Arctic, the inner coldrum of Chicago, the silver-tongued Grecian himself, the most prolific social commentator of our entire generation, the one and only Gus Demos. And you can find him over at perpetualassets.com. Perpetualassets.com. If you're terrified of your 401k becoming 101k, if you're terrified that your politicians do not have your best interests for you and they're most likely compromised, pedophile, satanic bastards, and you want to take your financial life by the balls, get a hold of Gus Demos over at perpetualassets.com. Whether it's precious metals, whether it's cryptocurrencies, whatever the heck it is that you want to do, Gus will help you with the way on how to set it all up. And with that being said, Gus, kosher disaster relief. I love it.
I was torn between that and shekel disaster relief, but I decided to go kosher disaster relief.
Better.
Yeah, it is because it abides by the rules.
Look, man, there's nothing more American than being pro-Israel. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Gus. You know?
Are they taking it? Are we at the reveal stage of this movie?
I think we're at the reveal stage of the movie. This is the part. This is the part in Scooby-Doo where the
V there, bud. We lost you. V, we cannot hear you.
Gus.
Oh, we got you. Okay, we can hear you now. V. Is it? Well, Gus is muted.
Muted.
I unmuted Gus.
Yeah, you're muted for the last 30 seconds or 20 seconds.
No, it is. I think this is the part in Sixth Sense when you find out Bruce Willis is dead. This is when you start connecting the frames back in your mind of the last 2 hours. You're like, wait a minute, what now?
Yeah.
It feels like the big it feels like it. I mean, it's, put it this way, man. At this point, and I alluded to this a couple of times the last month, at this point, it's almost politically neutral.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if you're a soy boy, a black woman, an Arab Muslim, a Mexican, a Greek, it doesn't matter. Whatever you are, at this point, you don't. Big breaking news: none of the 8 billion goy really want to be slaves to Jews. So this is almost politically neutral. Like, it's not. This isn't political. It's like, wait a minute. Were we born into slavery of Yiddish bankers, and that somehow film our politicians molesting kids?
Yes.
I think that's the bottom. That is the ultimate red pill. When you peel away all the propaganda, everything, whatever, you don't have to go down to the last two. Some people go even further than 100 years. They'll be like, oh, it's actually the Club of Rome and the Vatican Bank. And just shut the fuck up. At the end of the day,
Club of Rome.
No, it's Illuminati level 78. Like, dude, it's Jew bankers that founded a country, and that country has been used as a base of operations to film your politicians molesting kids on film. Yes. So that's the simplify it, dumb it down, forget your rabbit hole, how deep you want to go. It's as simple as Jew bankers conquered the world a while ago. They controlling money and credit. Then they got a country out of the UK and the United States during World War I, and they use that country now to blackmail the politicians in the Western countries. Doesn't matter if it's importing people, doesn't matter, whatever. They use the leverage of molesting kids on film, blackmail operation to control Western countries. That's it. That's the system. Like, so, they just did a good job hiding it. For like now, it's just like, shut the fuck up. We all work for Israel. Fuck you. Like what?
Well, you know,
Like,
I think Gus is all part of Trump's 4D chess that he's playing, bro.
dude, they're not even being sneaky about it. Like, I mean,
like, I don't get it, Gus. Like, why are you so upset? Like, you know, you're something happens in, let's just say, in the state of Florida, and another major hurricane comes through, and there needs to be disaster relief. Don't you want to make sure that your fellow neighbor pledges allegiance to a foreign country before they get aid? That's American, bro.
To save my puppy from drowning, I need to spin a fucking dreidel. Really? Yes. Like it's eat the bagel and spin the fucking dreidel if you want to.
Hey, I like bagels, all right? So leave the bagel out of this.
No, dude, come on. Like enough. It's gotten to the point where even Steve Bannon in the war room had to say something like, "Excuse me," like
they're like, "What the hell's going on here? We got got."
It's not.
Can we just admit that we got again?
Well, bro, again, there's one thing in pretending nod, wink, wink. Israel's our greatest ally, which has been a fucking joke the whole time. But now it's just like in your face, like actually, you're all their slaves. It's like what? So we went from greatest ally, nod, wink, wink, to actually we're all their slaves because you know they have us on video dingling a 12-year-old. Like really? Like I don't think so. So it's maybe this is the big reveal. Like oh, we don't have to hide anymore. We are occupied. We are the West in general is occupied.
The capitulation to Israel. Now people will say, "Oh, Trump is just doing lip service." Because initially it was like lip service to Miriam Adelson because of Sheldon Adelson gave them $150 million, and that's what this is all about. But it went from lip service to we have the Jeffrey Epstein files. Yeah, that doesn't exist.
Oh, it's lip service, just not the kind you're talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. Then it goes from that to, oh yeah, if you want disaster relief, we got to make sure that your state doesn't do anything, that it doesn't ban any Israeli business. Meanwhile, American businesses can be boycotted. America itself can be boycotted. But you cannot boycott a foreign country that is the size of New Jersey in the Middle East. You cannot boycott them. It is verboten.
That, by the way, is a fake country founded by a banking family applying usury to England. Like it's all like make believe gibberish. So, like it's we're way past the point of them hiding it. Left and right, like again, when Sink, the Young Turks, Anarchist Bahrain are agreeing with us and Nick Fuente, like everyone sees the same thing.
Everybody does.
Yeah, they got a big problem on their hand. Like so, again, the issue is they wield the levers of power as it pertains to the men with handcuffs. Blah blah blah. So. Is he? I don't know what their end goal is. I mean, well, I do know what their end goal is: total and utter fucking slavery. But I don't know why they're revealing this early. Like, what they're 6 months, 9 months into the administration. It's Oh, by the way, like it's fucking insane. It truly is insane. And what is their response to this? Dude, imagine.
They don't even care, bro. It's.
I don't think they do.
This it used to be for decades. This sort of stuff was just hidden in the background. It was, buried under layers and layers of disinfo and propaganda and whatnot. It was never even talked about. Now it's just like everything's out in the open, and they don't even care. They're not even bothering to hide it. They're like, "This is what we're going to do. This is what we are, and what are you going to do about
it?" Yeah, and I think, like I said, they're. So the one side of the coin, the quote unquote, Bolshevik Jew has been importing all these, South Americans, Central Americans, Africans, Asian. They've been flooding the West with all these people. They're trying to, quite frankly, they're trying to dilute the white Christian population because they don't want nationalism to rise. they've talked about this for over 100 years. Like it's written and written. We got to dilute these countries. They hate the West. They hate Europe. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, that's the Bolshevik Jew, the Zionist Jew, which preaches nationalism, but only for Israel, and ethnocentric tribalism, but only for Jews. They are killing brown people and Arabs and Muslims. They're fucking slaughtering them, women, children, whatever. So here's what's happening. The same people they're importing into so you have these Zionist mouthpieces on social media, like your Tommy Robinson and your well, you have these people that are like, oh yeah, Israel's amazing, kill these Muslims. So they're trying to take the white nationalism and point the finger at the Muslims again.
Correct.
Ignoring the fact that the reason the Muslims are there in the first place is the Jews. So what the slippery slope the real slippery slope they're gambling with is that the Muslims and the Christians don't unite and say, wait a minute, who did what now? So even if you read like a lot of the Al-Qaeda and Bin Laden things, it's like, I think I sent you and CJ that thing. Even Bin Laden was like, Americans are slaves to Jews. I feel bad for them. Like Bin Laden told you 30 years ago you're a slave to the Jews. Like so, like the danger for them is that the 8 billion goy all wake up to who's really in charge at the same time. Mm-hmm. So the people they're importing into the West and the existing population of the West wake up to the fact that, holy shit, while the Jews slaughter us and bombing 6 different countries in the Middle East and trying to send all those refugees into the West, it's the same people behind both. Yeah. So the same people slaughtering us and killing women and children and getting us out of our dirt in the Middle East are the same people importing us to the West. So what it is just instigating chaos, global chaos amongst the fucking goy. So the Muslims fighting the Christians, the whites fighting the blacks fighting the Mexicans. Everyone's fighting everyone.
Everybody's fighting everyone. It's divide and conquer.
And the Jews want to sit there in the corner and be like, well, we're oppressed. we're Bolsheviks, but we're actually Zionists too, and blah blah. I just saw this. The new head of the TikTok censorship is a like liberal feminist Jew IDF Zionist. Like it's like what? So she
checks all the boxes.
She checks every box. She's a Jew liberal Bolshevik Zionist. She's like, it's like Marx and Trotsky and Rothschild had a baby, and this
Marx, Trotsky, and Rothschild had a.
Yeah, well, again, that they're, as Churchill wrote, they offer 2 sales pitches. They offer the Bolshevik sales pitch is to sack the Western countries. The Zionist sales pitch is to sack the brown people, and they pretend to be, at odds with each other, but they're not. It's the same financiers. It's the same people behind both. And they'll never throw under the bus the other side. So, you'll never see a quote unquote Bolshevik Jew say, yeah, it's actually a few banking families that are behind this whole fucking thing for the last couple centuries. Never. Again, and that's how we got here. We got here because once you control money, you control out. You could sack every other sector after that one by one. So if you control money and credit, if anyone wants to really see the history of Hollywood, look what happened, and the history of U.S. media, even after Hollywood. Everything fell into place after the creation of the Federal Reserve. So after they create the Federal Reserve, after they get a monopoly on money and credit, then from 1920 to 1925, Hollywood is usurped totally. In 5 years, three Hollywood studios, all Jewish controlled, pop up in the course of 5 years. You think that's just a fucking coincidence? You think out of nowhere, a decade after they control banking, they sack the entire entertainment industry. Three different Jewish Hollywood studios pop up. Actually, it's not even 5 years. It's like 2 years. It's like 1922 to 1923. So they control information, they control entertainment, after banking and after money and credit go, every other sector goes after that, like one at a time. Now we'll take now we'll take the universities, now we'll take this, now we'll take that, now we'll take that. Before you know it, you're living in the fucking matrix. Everything's fucking fake. So again, this was all concealed or on the down low, but now when they say if disaster relief and FEMA are only applicable, they're not applicable to you as a taxpayer. So we're inflating your money, we're taxing that, we tax your salary and your income, but you only get to we're only going to help you if you let some rabbi suck the foreskin off your kids. Like, dude, enough. Like, it's so blatant now.
It's so blatant, man, and it's terrible. And a quick disclaimer for everybody that's listening: what we're specifically talking about are Zionists, which are the Kabbalistic Babylonian Jewish faction. I mean, there's a lot of Jews also that are against Zionism. In fact, in New York, there's been a whole Jewish community that actually flew to Iran to show solidarity with the Iranians. And that's the problem. We have a sect of this death cult that's been usurping much of the command and control structures here in the United States. It's incredible how cucked we are as a nation.
Like I said, it's blatant.
And that's the truth right there. Zionist ideologues often admit they are not practicing the Jewish faith at all.
They're atheists.
The founders of Zionism, okay, Theodore Herzl and whatnot, these guys were all atheists. And then you'll have some religious Jews because they feel some sort of solidarity because the Babylonian Zionist faction, the Kabbalah faction, they have the same axioms, they say the same verbiage, and that's how people will, either or that don't know are brainwashed into this type of ideology. It's a very virulent, very oppressive, very totalitarian ideology. Go ahead, Gus.
They're a race.
Yeah,
they're not the religion is kind of bullshit for most of them. They're Eastern European fucking Khazarians. Yeah, they're a race. It shows up on genetic testing. That's why they all fucking look the same. Like they're inbred too. They breed with each other. It's not. This isn't a conspiracy theory. Like they don't hide it. Like so when everyone's like, oh, it's religious. Dude, religion is like, most of them don't give a flying fuck about the religion. They give a fuck about the racial aspect of it. That's why they interbreed with themselves. Like, I think in Israel, it's illegal to marry outside, or they won't. Like, you have to marry within the Jewish. I think I don't. If someone says, "Oh, that's not the,"
it's true. I had a buddy of mine. He's Ashkenazi Jewish. He lives in Israel, and his wife is Sephardic. Because he married a Sephardic girl, there are certain things that he feels a discrimination of when it's time for him to get a mortgage for a house or something like that. He's waitlisted, stuff like these are things that legitimately happen. I have another friend.
Bro, I think 90% of them, or 95%, it's like in the 90s for sure, aren't of Middle Eastern origin. That's how big the number is. You could tell just by the skin, like they're Eastern European, fucking modern day Ukraine, which shouldn't fucking exist anyway. Lenin just made it up. Like Ukraine,
right?
By the way, another Jew made up Ukraine. Ukraine's not real. For all those who don't know the history of Russia and Ukraine, Ukraine's a fake country made by Lenin.
It is a fake country. It came into existence in 1991.
Where's Trotsky from, and what's his background?
He's a Ukrainian Jew.
Majority of the leadership that are in Israel from 19 48 onwards, the majority of those leadership were all Ukrainian descent. Every single one of them.
They're Ukrainian, Polish, and Romanian. Like it's all the Eastern European and Baltic region, all of them.
Right.
Like 90. That's why they've all changed their names. That's why they're shape shifting name changers. That's like the first order of business they do. It doesn't matter what country. It doesn't matter what country they go to. The first order of business is tweaking the name.
So you pull off the mask, and it's like, I would have gotten away with it as it wasn't for you guys.
Well, none of this would be a problem if they didn't show such ethnocentric nepotism. Like you go to a firm, a finance firm, a law firm, a doctor's office. They hire only within their own. Look at Hollywood. Like no. You guys have also seen these things of all these. Look at every fucking untalented actor that they put in movies. It's all some fucking ugly fat Jew. Like it's like why? How did Seth Rogen and
he's not even funny,
dude? There's a million of them that look like that. Like I'm like no shit. Like they practice such a level of nepotism. It's off the charts. Like it used to be better hidden. They've really, like, if you pull up Hollywood actors 40 years ago versus Hollywood actors today, like the ethnocentric nepotism they used to just do it for producers and directors, but they just started inserting actors in there too and actresses. That's why you see so many, like, again, it's just so blatant. Imagine if any of us, I'm 100% Greek. Imagine if I only hired Greek people for executive positions or whatever. Like it's exactly what the fuck they do. There was under Biden, you pulled up a list of the executives of Department of Homeland Security. Dude, it was the executives of DHS under Biden. It was 8 for 8 Jews. Like, do you know the mathematical probabilities of that? It's zero.
Yeah. Or near zero. Were like dual citizens, not just.
And they were dual citizens.
Yeah,
that's another problem that we have as well that we're facing as a country. We got a lot of these people with dual citizenship that's in leverage of control within government. That's problematic.
And the reason for that is pretty simple. It gives them a place to hide money launder and hide capital, and it also, if shit ever hits the fan, it gives them a place to fucking run. Yeah. Like how many stories? You don't have to believe me. Google Israel protecting pedophiles on
yes.
Yeah.
That's fact.
You'll have a state prosecutor go after some Jew pedophile, and the Jew will run to Israel, and he won't come back. They won't bring him back. Like so. Dude, what am I telling you here? It's like they're between the hiding capital and being able to finagle your way out of fucking Dodge if you get busted for a felony, bro. Roman Polanski has been at large for 50 fucking years for anal raping a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
think about that.
Yeah,
think about that. This fucking Jew raped a fucking 12-year-old, and he's drinking coffee in France and the street. Like, dude, what the fuck is going on here? Like, so it's.
But he gets such a standing ovation in Hollywood, man, and those awards are like the one time that Meryl Streep was like talking about Roman Polanski and how great he is. Yes.
Yeah, but well, imagine if it was any of us. Would I be able to run to fucking France or Greece? No. The U.S. government would fucking bring me back in a fucking heartbeat. Come on, yeah. They track, dude. Again, when the double standard becomes so fucking obvious that there's it's not even a protected class; it's the ruling class above they almost.
This is why no one's allowed to talk about it,
bro. Of course,
no one's allowed to question it.
If you're almost in shock when when one of their own goes down, like a big one, like Madoff. The reason I've heard someone argue it pretty well. They're like, Madoff only went out. No, they only took Madoff out because he fucked other Jews, which is a big no in the Talmud. Yeah. So you're allowed to crucify the goy, but you're not allowed to fucking crucify other tribesmen. Like other tribesmen are, we're in, again, if the entire culture runs on ethnocentric nepotism, their own are off limits. It's us who are the cattle that you're allowed to, fucking pull fast ones on. So you're almost surprised when they take down, when one of their own goes down. But again, look at Maxwell. They're talking about letting her, pardoning her. It's like, what the fuck? So it's, yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like I said, it's the big reveal, and it's when it's this bad in your face, then I don't know. I don't know what the end game is. I don't know what their plan is. It's become the great noticing is level 10 right now. The only thing maybe keeping them afloat in their own minds, in their own little bubbles that they, occupy and live in, is that they still have a portion of the population that only watches network news and doesn't,
You mean the boomers?
Yeah, and even like the normie, like a normie or the boomer is just sitting there pasted. Doesn't matter if it's Fox or CNN or MSNBC. They're pasted to this, and believe me, those people aren't showing IDF soldiers shooting fucking 8-year-olds.
No.
So they have a chunk of the population still in the matrix, still blah blah blah. But the younger anyone under 50 who's seen a clip on whatever X or TikTok, like what the fuck?
And
yeah,
it's the reason why they want to ban TikTok. It's really the reason they want to ban TikTok.
Well,
it's the Chinese party,
bro. It's become unavoidable. Reality is just it is what it is, So when they're losing the likes of Pierce Morgan and mainstream people who were talking 180 degrees the opposite a year ago, 2 years ago, it's like where's this going? What are they? If you lose, you lose the black. Brown, you're losing the Arabs, the Latinos, the blacks, the browns. You're losing the white straight Christian dudes. You're losing everything. Where are you taking this? That's what I don't know what their what their strategy is here. Are they just hoping to have a bunch of an entire populations of people who aren't going to play along with any of this? I mean, is that where they're going with this? Where you have an unruly government where everyone just becomes a fucking outlaw bandit? Maybe. I don't know. So it's something I never thought I'd see so blatant, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's no longer hidden. It's out in the open for everyone to see. There are two sets of rules. The one set of rule for the chosen and another set of rule for the goy, the 8 billion goy that occupy the planet. So I don't think it's a left or right issue anymore, bro. I think it's a not part of the tribe versus part of the tribe issue. So
exactly. Very well said.
Are we taking it too far on our side the way we see it, or is it pretty accurate? Like
it's when you start noticing a pattern, it's like look, man, it's people got to be fucking honest, bro. I'm of like mixed Asiatic descent, Indian, Polynesian, all this other shit. Now, if there was a whole bunch of like Indian doctors that are killing people left and right by prescribing them opiates, I was like, these motherfuckers, I'd call them out. I'd be the first to call them out. I'm like, these assholes, the hell are they doing? If there's a bunch of Polynesians that are out there on murder sprees left and right, I do the same thing, or if there's somebody who's of a little bit of Syrian Orthodox descent as well, or if there's a whole bunch of Syrian people just going around like Syrian Orthodox or any of the Orthodox communities out there just like slaughtering people or doing heinous things or involved in money laundering at a grand scale, you call it out. You got to call it out. And no one's gut checking these people. And now there's a pattern where all of a sudden it's like the same ideologues, the same ideology, the same people that hold these ideologies are becoming more and more noticed left and right, and they're in very key positions of power. It's problematic. Nobody with a dual citizenship should have any sort of office here in the United States, period, within the United States government, period. There should be no requirement for disaster relief and aid based upon your foreign allegiance to another country. It just, there's nobody that's off limits. If they are, then we're not living in America. And if we're not living in America, then what the hell are we doing here? let's we need to do shit to get this country back. And honestly speaking, Gus, I don't think the ballot box is doing much to save that.
I always try putting myself in the shoes. Just, it doesn't even matter if it's just seeing things from other people's perspective or strategy or whatever. So I'm perplexed this morning because if what I'm saying is somewhat accurate about all the goy waking up at the same time, you have these Jewish oligarchs in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami, they're all over, right? So I guess what I'm getting at is, if you're making it transparent to everyone along the political spectrum that it's all about you guys and, fuck everyone else, you're all useless. Cattle just means animal. I mean, goy just means fucking animal. If the rest of us, all 8 billion of us, are just useless cattle, useless goy, and you live in these U.S. cities, if you've made it apparent to both Tyrone and Chad and Mohammed that you feel that way, where are you going for comfort and safety? So if that's what I don't understand, they're creating a hostile environment in the host nation, regardless of ideology. Meaning, if left, right, black, brown, Muslim, Christian, Latino, if everyone sees the same thing, how are you walking out of your high-rise in New York? How are you going to a restaurant in Malibu? Like, the same, if they used to play this game where you could say, oh, the right will protect the right, the left will protect the left. We get out of those cities, they're controlled by liberal. If the blacks, the whites, and the browns all view you as an enemy, where are you going? Like, you've alienated the entire host nation. Does that make sense? Like, usually they would pit us against each other, where everyone's, it's instigating. It's always been instigating. That's the scam. The scam is instigating issue, even from the early days of communism. The entire fucking revolution, entire Bolshevik resolution was take the downtrodden and make them just burn down their own country. So it's instigating chaos. But if everyone is noticing the same thing, that you are in fact the instigator in the classroom, you're still in the host nation. Are you all going to hightail it to Tel Aviv? Like, is that the plan? Is that the end game here? Like, are you guys going to fucking get the fuck out of Miami and New York and Chicago and Los Angeles? Are you guys going to all highlight to Tel Aviv? Like, if you can't have peace when you go out to the street, I mean, you're creating that type of environment. The black dudes, the fucking Arab dudes, everyone's seeing the same fucking thing. Like, this isn't a race thing. This isn't a religion thing. It's, so that's my confusion. If you turn they're turning the host nations against them. That's what's going on. Forget the politics. Oh, we control the politics. Yeah, good for you, but you still have to go eat. You still have to go to the bank. You still have to take a drive here. You still have to go exist in the host nation. The FBI director,
maybe that's the Samson option, where if things go sideways, they're just going to nuke the countries that we live in. That's the Samson option, man. Right? I mean, I think they blackmail the entire Western world. And notice the list of those countries; they're all Western countries on the Samson option.
I've said it before. There's a reason the Romans wouldn't label the slaves in Rome, because the slaves might realize they have the citizens outnumbered. So sure. If I'm bringing that up, why? Because if Spielberg and Howard Stern and Ackman and the rest of them, and Mark Cuban, if the slaves all realize, like, holy shit, like, this is the way it is, you're still in the host nation. Your capital's in the host nation. Your family, you're in the host nation. You're turning the entire population against you, regardless of political affiliation.
Yeah.
So that's it does. Their strategy for divide and conquer and instigating has been effective for a long time. You know, the blacks and the browns and lesbians and gays, they were focused on getting whitey, and they did an amazing job. You know, for the last 25 years, 35 years, they did an amazing job convincing whitey to bomb the Arabs for no fucking reason. So the instigating and chaos while keeping your hands clean was an enormous part of keeping us all, you know, just asleep from the truth and, you know, whatever. But it's all been revealed the last 2 years, you know. So that's why I don't get it. Like, you guys are still here. Like, are you all going to run around with private security? Like, you know, however many millions of you there are in Western countries. What's your game plan here? That's what I don't get.
Yeah, V had to take off, by the way. He let me know ahead of time he would have to do that, so he sends his whatever you call it, his farewells for the day. I mean, there is a simple explanation that's being floated out there, and it's that they're not really the ones in charge. I know that kind of goes down some rabbit holes, right? But maybe they're just the hatchet men, and they've lost their protection. So you think about it this way. You're not allowed to talk about them, right? What are we doing right now? In like the last 3 podcasts.
They are the source of discussion in politics, not just for us, for everyone. I mean, especially since the Iran affair. Iran is what started it. So everyone was fine and dandy with the administration, and then Iran, followed by Epstein. It was like, okay, well, now that you've made it impossible to ignore what's going on here. If you're telling me their middle management, that tribe has been elevated to middle management of the ruling class, that's possible. But you're never going to get to the top if you can't if you can't discuss middle management in the first place. So
yeah, no, I mean, Tom Luongo says he was following it, and he said that there was a change on social media, and people were allowed to talk about him after October 7th. That's when it seemed that they were fair game to talk about on social media. And I didn't track that myself. That's just what Tom said. And so there are theories out there, and there's always theories. But I mean, think about it. If you go 1,000 years back, you know, they were brought in by the Catholics to do all of the money lending and that kind of stuff because usury was not allowable by the church. So you put Nancy Pelosi in power for a few decades, and she's, you know, running the show over there in her part of Congress. You know, the little hats have been in power for 1,000 years. I mean, I'm sure they've garnered some of the power of their own. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if they were. I recently saw there was an excerpt from Dostoevsky in his diary. And I think it was like 1890, where he's like, the Yid and his bank have conquered most of Europe already. So I don't know if I'd go back. If they were in charge for 1,000 years, they wouldn't have been expelled so many times. So,
well, that kind of goes towards what I'm saying, though. You're actually kind of making a point there that maybe they're not the ones who are truly in charge. I don't know. I don't think it's as simple as, you know, a lot of people think it is.
No, but put it this way. If they are the only protected class remaining. So we were not allowed to speak derogatory about anyone who was gay or Muslim or black or whatever for years and years and years. They ruled college campuses, they ruled media, they ruled social media. Bringing up race, sexual preference, religion was completely taboo. That all started with the woke revolution, right? It was immediately crushed. All those taboos went down the toilet the minute those gays and blacks and feminists and Muslims started protesting Israel. You saw the weight of the government come down on those people. You saw them being expelled from university. You're seeing them being deported now. Who the fuck's in charge? Who do you really think is in charge? So those people were allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, say whatever they want. They were allowed to tell you they were allowed to make a music program saying we are grooming your children. We're gonna sterilize your son, motherfucker. Like, so they were allowed to do all that. The minute they bring up bagels, it gets shut down. So again, all you have to do is observe power, which way power points, and quickly, you let them burn countries, sterilize children, molest children, shut down universities. Everyone did whatever the fuck they wanted for a long time. And they all got fucking castrated the minute Israel gets brought up. So again, going back to the Voltaire quote, find out if you want to see who rules over you, find out who you're not allowed to criticize. So
completely agree. Yeah, but we're criticizing him here and now, aren't we?
Well, we are, but can you do it on Facebook? Can you do it on Instagram? Can you do it on, so you're allowed what currently, again, TikTok just hired an IDF, an IDF. So even Grok on X has been completely fucking lobotomized. So are we allowed on, Rumble, etc.? Can we have this conversation on YouTube, the largest video channel on planet Earth? No,
we're doing that now. So, we've been doing that since you've come back.
Are we on YouTube?
We're on YouTube, and we've been on YouTube since you've come back, and none of them have been taken down.
So the logic is, why are we allowed to have these conversations now as opposed to before? That's a good question.
I have, it's hard to know, right? We're reading other people's email, and we're talking about the most powerful people in the world, and everybody wants to think that they know what's going on. But
no, they were, to your point, if it was really totally, you're not wrong. If it was totally off limits, dude, there were channels that were having AI listen during 2020 and 2021 on YouTube, just if you mentioned the vaccine or COVID, and they would shut down the channel or whatever. So what you're saying isn't completely insane. If they really had total power and control, why wouldn't YouTube shut it? I don't know. Maybe they are just scapegoats, or someone's thrown them under the bus. I don't know.
There's a theory out there that they're like the whipping boy, and basically they're the hatchet men. You get to see their face. They come around every so often. They do all these things, and then they're the ones that get to take the punishment. And then, after another 100 years, they get brought back out to do all the, that's a theory. I don't know how accurate it is, but I would say that the people we're really not allowed to talk about are people who we don't know exist, and they're probably the ones running the game. If I were running the game, nobody would know who I was if that was possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they do a good job. I mean, it's impossible to completely scrub 200 years of history, right? So they've done a good job. I mean, again, how old are you?
I'm your age.
Okay, you're in your 40s.
I'm the same age. I'm a few months apart from V.
So we're sitting in a classroom, 5, 10, 15 years old. You hear a lot about Rockefeller and Vanderbilt and JP Morgan. How often does the name Rothschild come up?
Never.
Or Warburg. Never. So, but if you search the archives, you could find a Hollywood movie from 100 years ago, House of Rothschild, where it shows the origin story. Now, you can't completely vaporize newspaper headlines that are 100, 150 years old, or movies that are archived. So they can't completely wipe out the past, but they've done a pretty good job scrubbing it to the best of their ability.
Well, I mean, I have friends that I don't talk to anymore, because what they've done is they've programmed people so well that you could show them these movies and these things that are left over that tell the truth, and they'll just say it's fake. So why scrub the past when you can just convince the people of the present that it's fake?
Well, I think Von Gott said, none are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. and there's some truth to that as well.
Amen to that.
Yeah, well, the people I often bring up Plato's Cave to people that are like, oh, how do you know what the red pill is? How do you know if you're the slave watching shadows versus the one who escaped the cave, etc.? And I often say the reaction of the person who's asleep, as Plato illustrated, was to attack the one who's telling them they're looking at shadows. The guy who comes back to the cave and guys is like, guys, this is all fake. You're staring at shadows. It's all an illusion. Like and they try to kill him. Like, and that illustrates who's actually sleeping. When you challenge someone's reality, if they come back combative, going fucking apeshit crazy, yeah, they're beyond saving. And
for sure.
Yeah, what I don't know is the end game here. I don't know what they hope to accomplish with all this. It seems puzzling to me. It's if the West goes, where do they? If the West falls, truly, like where do these people go? Are they going to live amongst the ashes? I mean, I don't know.
It's a tough one. I mean, I think you've done well to do what you've done with your life, and I congratulate you for taking some steps that a lot of people would not take. My wife, her parents are from Eastern Europe, and so we have that option as well. But that particular country is kind of a flashpoint. So we went ahead and did the red state thing. That's as far as we've gotten, and you went ahead and did the right thing, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there is no right thing. At the end of the day, people just want to take care of their family, accumulate capital, live a peaceful life, etc. And they've made it difficult here to the place we grew up at. As V said last week, I'm much more cosmopolitan in nature. I prefer to be at a restaurant on the streets of Chicago or New York, or a cafe in fucking Rome or fucking Paris or something. But again, they've made a lot of that not peacefully an option, or from a safety perspective or whatever. Again, it's all fucked. I don't know how bad it's. And I sent V a text yesterday. Now that they're recognizing student loan delinquencies again,
yeah,
it's gone. It's everyone. The amount of people under 50 that are just defaulted debt slaves is fucking insane. Like, it's so they froze student loan payments for 5 years, and now they're hitting the books again, and it's like, holy fuck, you have a bunch of people that are all past due 90 days. And what were they doing with the money they weren't spending on student loans? They're probably getting fucking Uber Eats, vacationing, and doing God knows what. So they have no net worth, in debt. How is this place going to sustain itself? I don't know. Like, it's bad. The truth is, it's going to get much, much worse before it gets better. And I just don't know what it looks like when it gets much, much worse. And this is all in the backdrop of multiple wars and escalation with China and Russia, and it's like, what the fuck, really? Like, so yeah, it's gonna be a bumpy decade ahead. I don't. And go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, an interesting piece to the puzzle is a lot of the power that the little hats hold is like Hollywood, things like that, and also they own all the porn stuff, OnlyFans, and the freaking, it's all Zionists that own that stuff. Well,
of course.
What's AI going to do to that?
Well, there's a great meme going around. They're like, how is this rabbi dildo salesman have a picture with every world leader? And it's a valid question. It's like, how is this fucking dildo sex toy selling rabbi have a fucking photo with every single person of power in Western governments? It's perplexing as fuck. Like, is this guy, like, how does this guy get in front of him? The AI, they're trying to, like I said, they're trying to lobotomize it to the best of their ability. The ones they control. The good news is, the last 5 years, I think the popularity and relevance of Hollywood has plummeted big time. I don't think the movies aren't what they were 10 years ago. I mean, forget the quality. I think the population's interest or appetite for them has plummeted. And you could chalk that up to wokeness. You could chalk it up to the actors and the attitude of the studios, the way they view the population and tell them, so that influence has plummeted big time, which is a good thing. Like we shouldn't be. I like to call it goy slop.
Yep.
Like Hollywood is kind of like fast food. It's a lot of goy slop.
Well, I think they knew it was a rapidly depreciating asset, as a popular thing to say right now, and so they decided to ride it till the wheels fell off, and they knew they could use it to work on the weakest people, or at least the most influenced people at the time. And so they hit the woke because that's who they've been ginning up for whatever their movement was. And they knew that AI was just going to ruin Hollywood. It's going to ruin porn. And so they did everything they could with it while they still could. And now that's going to be gone. You have Elon. I don't know how often you are on X, but he created this AI that can make basically it's video. And what's the first videos that he starts to put out is videos of hot girls taking off their clothes. And I'm like, and a lot of people are unhappy because it's degenerate, and that's fine. But what's the real message he could be sending is OnlyFans, you're done. Right? People are going to have like the exact porn they want on demand. And that's the future.
Well, the AI thing is the question mark that remains to be seen how it plays out. When Grok went full Hitler, he did. I mean, it was something to behold. Anyone, there are definitely archive shit you could go see. You can go see everything Grok was saying when I'm assuming some fucking boy slipped a line of code in there saying filter off. But they lobotomized him so quickly where now Grok just repeats ADL and APAC and talking points. So it's again, Grok is one example, but these AI tools are going to be as useful as the code that wrote them. The issue is there, and I saw someone say it, is like, if the primary function of AI is to absorb as much data as possible and come up with conclusions based on that, they're going to have a hard time keeping that rabbit in the hat. They're going to have a hard time keeping that rabbit in the hat because there's just too much data out there. So,
then there's open source AI like DeepSeek, where you can just have the code and you don't need someone else to give it to you.
I have to start playing around on more platforms for sure. My knowledge right now is limited to like Grok, ChatGPT, like 2 or 3 of them. So I know there's a bunch of them for manipulating photo, or I think it's FOTAR, FOTOR. It's supposed to be like the top one for manipulating pictures, cleaning them up, etc. It's certainly the future. If crypto was the monetary future that started 15 years ago, then AI is the next. That's the next thing. The problem is you don't know what the winners are going to be. Like anything else, in the early stages, everyone will put together some bullshit just to raise seed capital, but you don't know who the winners are going to be down the road. And if they're promoted by the system, then they're most likely just honey traps or whatever. So we'll see, dude. It's complex times we live in. It's complex time. It's either I don't know if it'll ever be global slavery, but that some level of regional slavery is definitely what they're shooting for.
Pretty freaky, man. But hey, great show. Thanks for coming back, and we'll see you next Wednesday if you're around.
Yeah, good catching up, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, brother.